Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Monster Hunter Rise, and in this one we are talking about the Lance, the preview that Capcom just dropped, looking incredibly cool, giving us a look at a couple of the new silkbind moves and just how the Lance behaves in Rise, and I've got to say it is looking pretty clean. Of course, if you missed the longsword video, you can check that out over on the channel, and again, be sure to keep it locked every single day this week because Capcom are dropping 2 videos every single day, so we're going to be busy. But let's not waste any time and let's dive straight in. Of course, we see the Hunter here wearing full Aknosom gear with the Aknosom Lance. To begin with, we of course get a look at some of the different moves for the Lance. So we see like a little snippet of Power Guard, we see some of your standard attacks, and we see the setup for a couple of these silkbind moves. So if we jump into general combat, before we go any further, this is also their subtle way of confirming that Puke is making a return. This is the first time we've actually seen Puke in the footage from everything they've shown so far. They haven't kind of revealed it, so the fact they're kind of just dropping a cheeky reveal in this is quite exciting. I do also wonder potentially whether there'll be other monsters they show off. I imagine this is a pretty good way to sort of showcase returning monsters because you don't necessarily need to make a huge song and dance about them if we've just seen them recently. So maybe in the videos this week we might get a few other monsters, which will be incredibly exciting. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Lance. So to begin with, we of course have your standard poke combo going into the wide sweep. What is interesting here is that it appears that your wide sweep move, which honestly for the Lance previously you've normally just used to kind of clear out little sort of trash mobs, not something you a lot of the time work into your general combo flow, but it appears from what we can see here that there's actually the ability to charge that wider slash. So I wonder whether that's actually going to kind of adds like, you know, some decent damage values to it, to the point where it might actually be a valuable part of our combo flow. Definitely very excited to check that out. So, you know, some new base moves. So it's quite cool to think because from everything we've seen so far, a lot of the sort of base moves seem to be pretty similar to what we've seen in World and Iceborne, with a few, you know, permutations here and there. But this, of course, is an alteration to just, you know, general combat. We also see that you can assume what appears to be the Power Guard stance that was introduced in Iceborne. So, you know, assuming that still behaves the same way, while draining your stamina incredibly quickly, it also gives you baked in guard up, and of course the ability to then follow that straight up with an attack. So, you know, that's pretty cool to see coming back because I always thought that was, you know, it was definitely situational, but it was definitely a pretty cool move to be able to pull off, like if you got the timing right. We then see the ability to launch up into the sky, you know, with the wire bug. Again, all weapons can do this. You can kind of just get yourself like up to perform some pretty cool attacks. But what's cool is that you can then go straight from that into your launch charge, because up until this point, you've normally just initiated that from the ground. Again, I'm sure you probably can still initiate it from the ground, but the fact that you can now also do that from a launch is going to be pretty sweet. Also, there's a brand new like endemic life over there, this sort of floating fish looking thing, which is rather interesting. We then see the setup for the first silkbind move. I love the animation for this. The fact is you literally like temporarily sheath your lance, pull out a kunai, which is pretty damn big for a kunai, let me just say this, and then you stab it into Puke. This of course is the twin vine. The website says bonds that tie. This jabs a kunai into the target to get its attention, and pressing the corresponding buttons while the kunai is still lodged into the target will launch you towards it whilst guarding. So you can of course see in the gameplay, you initiate it, you kind of set up that tie, you then hop backwards, you know, your lance triple back hop, and you can then of course then firm your way through an attack, guarding the whole way, which just looks incredibly cool, and you can then go straight into this sort of downward thrusting stab, and of course continue that because you've landed straight into your charge. You can then of course spin around and continue from there. So that is pretty cool. I'm quite interested to see, because there seems to be quite a few weapons where you can initiate these tethers, and there's like behaviors you can do from that. I'm interested to see what like the full length of the tether is, like if there's a point where you walk too far and it just snaps. I imagine there's gonna be, because you're not gonna be able to walk to the other side of the map. But regardless, to see just how far that is and being able to like literally zip yourself towards the monster is going to be hilarious. However, the second one is called Anchor Rage. It says let the anger flow. This one, attacks absorbed whilst your shield is up, temporarily boost your attack power, and the strength of the boost depends on the power of the attack absorbed. So this is kind of like Monster Hunter Generations Enraged Guard. So obviously, you know, you would firm like a really powerful attack, and that would of course set you up nicely for your follow-up attack. So obviously, you know, learning to use this at the right time so you can then, you know, block the most powerful moves is going to allow for some pretty powerful counter attacks. But yeah, that for the time being is look at the Lance, looking incredibly stylish. I'm loving some of those movement options, honestly. Just like the Lance, you know, as a weapon, if you're familiar with it, you know, you are a lot more rooted to the ground, so typically a lot of your movement comes from your hops and whatnot. So having the wire bug to just give you that additional freedom of movement is going to be pretty smooth in gameplay. So that's it for the time being. Again, be sure to keep it locked every single day because this is the schedule. This is what you have coming up. So if you're looking forward to a particular weapon, remember it's 2 weapon videos a day, so you can work that out accordingly. And of course, keep it locked to the channel because as and when they drop, I will be covering all of them. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, you can join the Arekkz Gaming Discord. We've got an awesome community over there with so many different channels for you to chat loads of different topics and different games. I'm in there, the team's in there if you guys want to chat with us, find people to play with. It's just in general a great place to be. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads.